Hello and welcome to Pins and Patience. My name is Jeremy. This is going to be part 2 of the DS9 Nemesis era duty shirt. The piece of cloth that I have here before you is going to be used as the cuff for one of the sleeves. Now this is probably one of the easiest parts of the entire build, I think, except for cutting. In this case, we're going to fold this over. We're going to run a line of stitches along here at 3/8 of an inch. From there, once this is done, we then split it, well, I should say, roll the seam into its half position so it would look something similar to sitting like that. Of course, with the seam closed, we would then roll it in onto itself. Again, like I say, this is probably the easiest part of this build entirely. So now that we've got that down, we're going to put some pins in, and then we're going to go to the machine. All right, let's get into it. Now here's something I didn't pause to do, and I'm thankful that I did, because this could really turn out sideways on you, is that no matter which fabric you use, there's always going to be a right and a wrong side. And with this fabric, it is a bit tough to see it. There is a shiny side and there is a dark side. And for this build, as I look at it here, this is the darker side. And I would want this to be exposed this is what everybody else would see. This is what you would see. We call this the garment side. And this is a little shinier, and I'm not quite sure if you can really notice the difference, but this is what we call next to body. So, and this is where, again, you have to be very careful to figure out when you do this and you make this, that your sleeve is going to match the hue, the tint, the garment side as well. So here's the thing. As it stands, that's the same color as this, but if I was to sew this up and do the entire process, the outside, let's say the body side of the fabric would actually be showing, which would in turn would be the lighter part of the fabric. So I'm glad I paused. I'm glad I took that moment, and I'm glad I double checked, because nobody likes having to pull stitches. As previous, we're going to be doing 3/8 of an inch here. I have my walking foot and I'm using a zipper foot here. I'm just going to quickly switch those out. There, so I've switched out my feet here. As you can see, we're using 3/8 of an inch of a seam allowance. We have our pins going in line of our sewing direction. So we're going to drop this first stitch, lock it in, adjust our speed, and away we go. And there we are, just such a beautiful line of stitches we're doing. It's very, very neat, very tight in that side. Just going to grab my ruler here and let's just double check. Okay, 3/8 of an inch, 3/8 of an inch, 3/8 of an inch, and it looks like I came in a little bit here on the bottom, but you know what? That's okay. You know what? That's good enough for that last little bit there. So yeah, I'm very happy with how those stitches came out. Now we're going to show you the next part. Now that we have our sleeve cuff here, we have this stitch. Now, as I said, it is really the easiest thing. So what we're going to do is we're just going to turn it like so. So again, the seam is facing upwards, and then we're going to fold it in onto itself. There we have it. So that was it. Honestly, I know that I looked like I was struggling there for a bit, but hey, cloth can be a bit finicky, so you just have to work with it. And then we're going to put 4 pins in the circumference of the wrist cuff. Then we're going to go back to the machine. We're going to tidy this up again using a 3/8 of an inch stitch. Then from there, we're going to move on to the sleeve. Here we are back at the machine. Now we're going to take a look once again, making sure that we're even, that we're squared off. We have one pin in here, and then we're going to do 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. And then this is going to give us an opportunity to seal this off, and then but still keep some stretch as well, because I'll show you about the stretch in just a little bit. Well, my goodness, I'm glad that I paused. I'm glad that I double checked my work, because you know what? I had to readjust all my pins. Why? Because first off, they were on the opposite side of where they should have been, and they also weren't in line with the sewing direction. So I would have led you astray. So here we are back at the machine, 3/8 of an inch. Our pins running correctly. We're going to drop this first stitch and then lock it in. And there we are. We have this fantastic cuff. We have the correct color on the outside to meet the garment side of the sleeve. And yeah, I'm very happy with that. Again, took a slow stitch, just a straight stitch here. Started off at our seam here, came all the way around, and yes, look at that. I'm very happy with that. So now I'm going to take some time off camera. We're going to grab the sleeve, and then we're going to work on the sleeve.